What's up, guys? In today's videos, I'm going to showcase the 10 legendaries that I think will have the most impact from the Great Dark Beyond expansion. I want to preface this by saying don't craft all 10 unless you're in a good situation to do so. But if you were to open up any of these cards with your opening packs or throughout the lifespan of this expansion, I think you will be pretty happy about them. I'm not rating this from 1 to 10, from best to worst or worst to best, but I think each of these 10 cards will have a significant impact on the meta play. So we're going to go right into it. First card here is the Death Knight legendary, the 8 Hands from Beyond, the Double Blood legendary. So this means you cannot play Reska, right? This locks you out of a bunch of different things, locks you out of Rainbow, locks you out a lot of things. However, I think this card is actually really good. So it's an 8 mana, 8/8 beast with the battle cry, destroy both players' decks except the 8 highest cost cards in each. Now, with the advent of stuff like the Starship, I think this is going to become really strong. I think Double Blood will finally find its time as a real true control deck, and I think against aggressive matchups, this card doesn't matter, obviously, but against very slower matchups, this is kind of a strong value, especially if you can recur value over the course of a game. So I could definitely see this seeing play in something like a Reno Death Knight, Reno Blood Death Knight, or even any other type of control variation of Death Knight. Through the Tavern Brawl, we've seen that Double Blood is pretty strong, right? It is got a relevant place in the meta. So opening this card, I don't think you'll be disappointed with its play. Next up, we have Xor'toth, the Breaker of Stars, the 6 mana 5/5 demon. Battlecry, add 2 stars to both sides of your hand. Basically, when you clear out all the cards in between the 2 stars, then you deal 5 damage to all stuff on the enemy side of the board. This will find play for sure. I don't think it'll see play in a deck that like shuffles your hand around a lot. I don't think that's where it'll see the play. It'll see the play in some type of very aggressive deck that wants to dump its hand. So Pirate Demon Hunter, whatever version of Pirate Demon Hunter, having this as a Leroy is where it'll see play. But conversely, you could just play Leroy. If you wanted to swing for 5 damage to the face, you could play Leroy for and get one more damage right direct to the face. But I definitely think that this will still see play. It's a good card. Look out for it. Exarch Naielle. So this is a 3 mana 3/4 hunter card with the battle cry, replace your hero power tracking. It's a Draenei, and I will tell you that this is arguably the best card in the set. Okay, first of all, there's nothing wrong with Power Shot or whatever the hunter hero power is. It's perfectly fine, but getting a 1 mana hero power is much better. And if it is getting a card from your deck, that's just ridiculous. This is a very, very strong card. This is easily the best card in the set. I find it very hard to not say that this card is not broken. I think this card is pretty insane. And if you're a hunter player, I think you're going to want this in your deck, in most of the hunter decks. Next up, we got Saruun, the 6 mana 7/6 elemental for mage. Battlecry, give all elementals in your deck fire spell damage +1. So, elemental decks exist for mage right now, and they're pretty decent. They're pretty like mid-range. They're like a middle tier type of deck, tier 3 or whatnot. And at one point, they were tier 1. But what this does is allow you to play stuff like Supernova. It allows you to run the new, there's a new common elemental. It's a 3/1 blazing something. That guy draws you a bunch of fire elementals or fire spells, which means you get to keep everything. I think this card is going to be really, really strong. It'll obviously see play in a lot of those decks, and maybe it'll open up the potential of using other cards that we don't see played a lot, like Mesa Thune, is that her name? Mesa Thune? Like, hopefully we get to see that played there, but I think this card is underrated. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but this is an insane effect because, the good thing about Elemental Mage is it's pretty easy to keep a board, right? Like, you can stick 3 or 4 guys on a board, or you can play that one elemental that gives you, copies based on however many elementals you summon last turn, it'll be easy to stack minions on the board and therefore stack spell damage. So we'll see if the effect comes out too late though, like turn 6 is kind of late, but I think this is actually going to be a pretty good card, and I think that's going to be an interesting archetype. Farseer Nobundo, this is, if not the best card in the set, this is the second best card in the set. 5 mana, 6/4 Draenei with the Death Rattle, open the Galaxy Lens. It absorbs the power of the next spell you cast. This is a bonkers location. Also, by the way, this card has the best signature art of all the cards in the set. I have fallen prey to this card many times on the Tavern Brawl. It is sick. This card is a control player's dream. You stack a Meteor on your Galaxy Land, you stack a Wish Upon the Sky on your Galaxy Lands, you stack the Frosty Armor, whatever it may be. Like, this is a strong card, probably, if not the best card, the second best card in the set. Next up, we have Murmur, the 6 mana 6/6 elemental. I think a lot of people are worried about what this card can do. The battle cry, when you play this, your battle cry minions cost 1, but it immediately die after being played. So, really this is for a combo turn, right? You're looking like something like this into Shutter Walk or Shutter Block or whatever the new version of the Shutter Walk is. There are a bunch of different routes here, or even just like this into a bunch of your Meteor creating elementals. It's gonna see play. This is a strong card if you are lucky enough to pull it. Get your mileage out of it, because this is gonna be it will be a good card for sure. Spore Empress Moldara, the 6 mana 6/7 minion from Warrior. I don't know why. Am I in the wrong circles? Because no one is talking about this card, and this card is the nuts, okay? So the start of the game, what happens is 7 replicating spores are shuffled into the deck. Whenever you play him, or whenever a replicating spore comes out, it turns into a 5 mana creature. Anytime another replicating spore comes out, it turns into another 5 mana creature and the old 5 mana creature. So this is just like easy tempo and value. I think this, I'm assuming that's how the card works, okay? Like, I don't know if I'm understanding the card wrong, but I think that's how it works. And if that's the case, this card is nuts. I don't see how this card got printed. It is pretty crazy. I can definitely see this working with Exarch Naielle in some way. And, I'm tired of Control Warrior. I'm kind of bored of like the whole Control Warrior thing. I want different things to do in the archetype, and a more aggressive or more mid-range type of style would help. And I think this will really bring towards that. I think this is a good card. If you drew it, then, that congratulations to you. Enjoy your easy legend, because I think this card is really, really strong. And of course, in neutrals, we have the Ceaseless Expanse, the 100 mana 15/15, but when you play it, destroy all other minions. Obviously, this card comes down a lot faster than, turn 10, depending on what your deck is. I think this card will easily be a staple in the meta, especially if the meta slows down. But we won't know what that meta really looks like until Renathal actually rotates out and we see the play, right? But assuming that the meta can slow down a bit to get past turns 10, this card will definitely be a meta player for a long, long time. Dirdra, the Rebel Captain, I think, I don't know. Like I said, very similar to Saruun and other cards like the Spore, Moldara. I don't know if people are underestimating the cards of this set, but Dirdra is strong. In my playing with her, I am very impressed with what she can do, and I love that she develops a new archetype for Demon Hunter. Now we have a Death Rattle archetype, and I think she's a strong card. I think she's not broken, but she does enable some cool synergies and play styles that I think will be very interesting and fun to enjoy. So if you like that, look to Dirdra. And lastly, I'll talk about Archimon, 7 mana 7/7 demon for Warlock. Battlecry, summon every demon you play this game that is starting your deck. This expansion really has provided a lot of support for new types of archetypes. Now the question is whether or not there's enough support for those archetypes to succeed. And this is one that I am kind of keeping an eye out on. Like, there is a lot of random demon or like generated or demon generation for Warlock now in this set. So it'll be very interesting to see if a card like this can exist there, because, you know, if you've played 4 or 3 or 4, even if you've played 2 demons, like 2 sizable demons that didn't start in your deck, by the time you play Archimon, that feels pretty good. So like, this card isn't like super broken, right? Because obviously, like, you play this on 7, your opponent on 8, if he's Death Knight, he has like 4 different ways to wipe your board, or war, you know, like Reno or whatever, right? It's not super broken, but it does leave for like a cool experience if you're able to stick your board. Like, and I like that Hearthstone's kind of slowed down in a way that we're allowing more of these large mid-range type of experience to exist, and hopefully they just don't get totally shat out by, you know, really big control, right? So anyway, those are the 10 cards that I am interested in the most for legendaries, and I think that they're going to have the biggest impact on the meta. What do you think about these cards? Do you think I'm off on any of these? Are there other cards that I have not mentioned that are legendaries that you think will have a bigger impact? Let me know in the comments, and best of luck when the expansion drops.